Hi, in this module we'll discuss about pivot tables. Now I've broken down this module into different sessions and in the first one we'll discuss what are pivot tables. Then we'll also discuss a couple of ways by which you can create a pivot table and then we'll also discuss about its structure. In the second session we'll then discuss about formatting a pivot table and then we'll move on to options like summarize by value and show values by. And in the last session, we'll discuss about the pivot graphs and the various pivot table options. Now coming back to the first question, what is a pivot? A pivot table is a very powerful tool in Excel as it can be used to create summary reports and also to analyze data in an Excel file. So for example, in a banking industry, there are like hundreds of thousands of transactions which happen daily via debit cards. Now, most of these transactions would be from genuine customers and a handful of them would be through fraudsters. But using pivot tables, we can play around with the customer attributes, the transaction attributes, and identify a risky segment, thus identifying fraudsters. So a pivot table can be created for thousands of rows of information, hundreds of thousands, or even 20 observations. Over here, I've got 25 employees from a company. I've got their marital status, country, gender, age, salary, number of portfolios they've worked on, the number of cases which they've worked on, and successful cases. So what I'll do, I'll use this particular data set to create a pivot table and then we can discuss about its structure. So one of the ways is I want to create a pivot table for this particular data set. So I've clicked on this particular data set. I'll go to insert. I'll click on pivot table. So Excel will automatically select this entire range as the underlying data for my pivot table. Now pivot table will give me options to create a pivot on the new worksheet or on an existing worksheet. So I can click on existing worksheet and then I can go to any of these existing worksheets and click on a particular cell where I want my pivot table to start with. But usually I prefer the new worksheet and click on OK. So now this is one way by which you can create a pivot table. Let's just delete this and let's look at the second option also. So I'll select this data. I'll click on Alt D T. Now this gives me a pivot table and pivot chart wizard. I'll click on next. Now because I had already selected this data, Excel has already put this in my range. I'll click on next. And now again I'll get the same option of having a pivot table on the new worksheet or an existing worksheet. Let's click on new worksheet. So pivot table has got created now. Let's name it as pivot. Now let me just minimize it a bit. Okay, now this particular area, this will have all your column names. So I've got name, marital status, country, gender, age, salary, portfolios worked on, cases worked on, successful cases. So I've got all these variables over here. In filters, we can drag and drop any of these variables. Now usually we put those variables for which we want to apply a filter or a condition on, and we'll see how this works out. In columns, we will drag and drop that variable for which we want its different values to appear in different columns. In rows, we will drag and drop that variable for which we want its different values to appear in different rows. And over here in values, we will drag and drop those variables for which we want to summarize the data or say count the data or say sum the data. So let's see how this works. So for my marital status, I can see that there are two options, married or single. For my country, I've got UK or USA. Similarly, for names, I've got these different options over here. So using these drop down arrows, I can see the different values in a particular variable. Let's say we want to calculate the number of employees by the region they reside in and the number of portfolios they've worked in. So let me put the region over here. So I've got UK and USA over two different rows. And for columns, I'll have the number of portfolios they worked on. So portfolios worked on has four distinct values, 1, 2, 3, 4, which have been listed over here. So using this pivot table now, I've got 8 different options. So for UK, I've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly for USA, I've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's calculate the number of employees across these combinations. So I'll drag and drop name over here in values. Now because name is a character variable, so Excel will automatically count it. So as you can see, for employees residing in UK, there are 4 employees who worked on one portfolio. There is only one employee who's worked on two portfolios. There are 4 employees who worked on 3 and 4 portfolios. Similarly, for USA, you've got 4 employees who worked on one portfolio. For USA, you've got 4 employees who worked on two portfolios, then one employee on 3 portfolios, and 3 employees on 4 portfolios. Now, one thing is that you can look at these distinct combinations also. But then another thing which you can summarize quickly from here is that there are 8 employees who worked on one portfolio. There are 5 employees who worked on two portfolios, 5 on 3 portfolios, and 7 on 4 portfolios. Similarly, you can see that there are 13 employees who are residing in UK and 12 who are residing in USA. Now let's look at some of these different terms, row labels, grand total or column labels which we've come across. So row labels basically it's sort of representing the variable which has been put in row. Column labels similar to row labels, just that this is based on variable which has been put in column field in the pivot table. Grand total, it's appearing twice, so it just basically sums up all the values of the field which are being summarized. Then count of name over here. Now because we are trying to count the number of employees across regions and portfolios they worked on, we drag the name field in the value section. So count of name over here suggests that we are counting the number of names. Now let's say I don't want to look at the number of employees, but I want to look at the salaries across these 8 different combinations. So I'll remove name from here, and as I drag it to the filter section, the count of gets removed now because we are no longer counting names now. Let's put salary over here. So whenever you put a numeric value over in value section, Excel will sum it. So over here it is showing that it is summing the salary. Now let's try and apply some filters also. So let's put gender in the filter section. Now I've got gender appearing over here. Now let's say I just want to look at the male population over here. So I'll click on this drop down arrow and this window will pop up. It shows the different values which are there for this particular variable. So for example, for name, we've got these different names. So again, click on gender. Now for selecting only male, I'll click on M and now I'll click on OK. Now whatever numbers which we are left with over here, they all belong to the male population. Let's apply another filter. Let's put age over here. Now for age, I've got these different options. Let's say I want to select more than one option. By default, all are selected. So I'll click on select multiple items. I'll untick this and now I can select whatever I want to. Let's say I select all less than 26. Click on OK. So now I'm just left with all the male population with their age less than 26. Now what I want you to do is, using this sales data, I want you to create a pivot table similar to this and then just play around with these different options of filter, rows, columns, or different values. In the next session, we'll look at formatting a pivot table and we'll also look at value field settings. So summarize values by and show values as options. Thank you. Hi, welcome back. Now in the previous session, we had discussed what a pivot table is, how to create a pivot table, And then we had discussed the basic structure of a pivot table, namely filters, columns, rows, values. So now in this particular session, we'll start from where we had stopped. Now we look at formatting of a pivot table, and then we look at options of summarize values field by and show values as. So now let's look at the formatting of the values. So over here I've got these salaries, but I want a currency sign in front of them. So because I want to format the values, which is salary over here, so I'll click on this drop down and I'll get this pop-up. I'll click on value field settings. This particular prompt will appear. I'll click on number format, and we've already gone through this particular type of format cells dialog box. So I'll click on currency and then I'll click on OK. Now I can also change the name. So over here it's appearing as sum of salary, and over here also it's appearing as sum of salary. Let's remove off, but you can name it anything what you want, 1 2 3 4. Let's click on OK. So now it's showing us some salary 1 2 3 4, and over here also the name has changed. Now when we click on value field settings, we've got these two options over here, summarize values by and show values as. So now let's look at these options. So over here you've got different options by which you can summarize your value field. So over here in the value field we've got salary. So right now Excel is automatically summing it, but we can also count it. As soon as I clicked on count, you may have noticed that the value over here in custom name changed to count of salary. If I click on OK, now the format, I need to change the format of it. So I'll go to value field settings. Because I'm counting, let it be a number and click on OK. So now I've got 6 in total. So we were looking at male population which had an age of less than equal to 25. So for UK, US, I've got 6 employees in total, 3 of them in UK and 3 of them in US. Let's look at what average does. So this will give me average of salary. And let me just change the format also. Back to currency. So now one of the questions you may be asking is, how is this count or sum or average useful in terms of analyzing the data? So if you just look at this data set also, there are some observations which you can make out of it. If you want, you can pause the video for a couple of minutes and just think about it. Now, the first obvious thing is that the average salary for the entire population of males with less than equal to 25 age is $54,000. But what is more interesting is if you look at UK average salary and USA average salary. So the average salary in UK is slightly higher as compared to USA. And another thing to note over here is that people who have worked on less portfolios, they've got more salaries. Now, this might be something to do with the specialization which they have had in that particular field only, that they are getting good salaries. Now, let's drag and drop other variables also. Let's select age over here. I'll remove country. I'll click on remove field and I'll just drag age over here. And let's just clear filter from age. So now this is for all the male population. I can see that the average salary is around $55,000. And again, similar to what we had observed earlier, people who worked on less portfolios, they tend to earn a higher salary as compared to people who worked on multiple portfolios. And that might be because these people are again and again changing their jobs. So they are not able to build an experience and then they are not able to count on that. So this is how pivot can be used. You can drag and drop various variables and try and see if a particular trend is standing out. Over here, something what can be very easily noticed is that people working on less portfolios are earning more. Let's see if that particular observation is true for the female population also. So for the female population, it's more stable. So they are earning almost the same. It's just that there is one individual who worked on two portfolios and is earning less, but otherwise it's more or less consistent. So this is how pivot can be used to create different segments. Now let's just do a control Z. I'll go back to my original table. Now before we jump onto Max, uh, let me just copy and paste some data first. Count. Okay. Value field settings, Max, number format, it needs to be in currency. Okay. So when we are going to use Max, so as you can see over here, I've got two employees within this segment where the country is UK and the number of portfolios worked is one. So what max operator will do is it will give the maximum salary of these two employees. So let's click on OK, 90,000. And the way you can check this is, so let's go to our data and search for males UK with one portfolio worked. So let's apply a filter and then we'll click on males, portfolios worked on one, and age less than equal to 25 and UK. So I've got these two employees. As you can see, the maximum salary of these two employees is $90,219, which is what our pivot table is now showing. Similarly, we can use the minimum option also, that will give the minimum salary of these two. Now the next option is product, but before jumping onto it, let me just first copy this first. So now as you can see over here, I've just got one employee. Over here, I've just got one employee. It's just that over here, I've got two employees, right? And we've already seen that the salary of these two employees is this. So let's just copy this to here. Let's see how the product works. So what product option does over here is it just multiplies 57,000 with 90,000. Because if you look at the other combinations, because it was just one customer over here, so that's why it's still the same. 26,000 is still 26,000 over here. 19 is still 19 over here. 87 is still 87. 46, 46. It's just that over here, this is the product of these two. So let's see. Yes, as you can see. So the product option just multiplies all the values within that particular segment. Let's just clear this. Now the next is count numbers. Let's see, for it to work, let me just remove salary again and let me put name. So right now I've got 6 employees, right? Now let's use count numbers. So as you can see, this is all zero, and that is because in name you have all character values. You don't have any numeric value. So that is why this will be equal to 0. Let's just do a control Z again. Similarly, you've got other options like standard deviation or variance, which are just used to calculate standard deviation or variance within those particular segments. Now let's move on to show values as. Now by default, this will show as no calculation. Over here, we've got country selected. So we'll just calculate the values on the basis of this. So the first option is percent of grand total. Now this will display the percentage of the value across these different combinations out of the grand total. So let's just click on OK. If you sum this up, this is 100%. If you sum this up, this is 100%. So how it will work is, let me just copy the data first. Let's just use no calculation over here, and let me just count. So I'm just copying this data so that when we do those calculations, it will make sense to us. Let me just change the format. Currency, dollars. Okay. Okay. Now we'll again go back to value field settings. Show value as percent of grand total. Okay. So for 147k dollars, I've got 45 percentage over it. But what is this being calculated from? Let's see. If I click on percentage. So as you can see, using percent of grand total, for each and every value, it will take a percentage out of the total value. So for this particular value over here, it's taking a percentage out of this entire chunk. Similarly for this, it will divide it by this and calculate a percentage basically. Wherever the values are not there, it will give a 0%. Let's look at other options. Percent of column total. Now each and every column will sum up to 100%. So 147k out of 194k is 75%. Similarly, where values are 0, this will be 100%. So for example, in this case, column 2, we've got the total value as $87,000. For UK, this value is 0, and for USA, the entire $87,000 is coming from USA. So that is why for USA this is 100%, whereas for UK this is 0. So basically it displays the value as a percentage of the total value of that column. Now let's look at another option. Value field settings, values, percent of row total. Now this is similar to the column total, just that now the row total will be 100%. So 147k out of 174k is 84%. Wherever the value is 0, it will be 0%. Now let's look at the next option. Percent off. Let's consider the base item as UK and click on OK. I'll just do some formatting to make it more readable. Right. So it displays value across different combinations as a percentage of the value of the base item in the base field. Now in our example over here, we've considered the base field as country and the base item as UK. So because we've considered UK as the base item, so what Excel will do is it will divide all the values in say column label 1 with 147k. So 46k out of 147k is 31%. Let's see. As you can see, it's 31%. Similarly, because there is no value present for UK over here, we don't have any value coming out here. Now for column label 3, when we divide 26k with itself, it will be 100%. But because there is no value over here, we are getting a hash null error. Similarly, for column label 4, because we do not have any value over here, so we cannot divide $19,000 by anything. So that is why we are not getting any value over here also. Let's see if we change this to USA. So value field settings, show values. So let's consider USA as our base item now. So basically what is happening is now we are calculating the percentage of the value based on USA. So is equal to this divided by this 314%. Because USA is a base item, this is 100%, this is 100%, and this is also 100% over here. For USA, for column label 3, we do not have any value, so that is why this is null over here. Now let's look at the next one. Difference from. Okay. Now over here again, because we've considered UK as a base item, so when we'll subtract 147k with itself, it will be 0. When we'll subtract 26k with itself, it will be 0. But when we'll subtract 147k from 46k, we'll get minus 100k. Similarly, wherever UK is 0, this value remains the same for US. Over here, since for USA we had this value as 0, when we'll subtract $26,000 from 0, we'll get minus $26,000. Now let's look at one more option. So it displays values as a percentage difference from the value of the base item in the base field. So first Excel will calculate the difference as we had shown earlier using difference from, and then divides the difference with the UK value in the column. So let's see how this works. When we'll subtract 147k from 46k, we get minus 100k, something what we were getting earlier also. And then we calculate this divided by this. So we are getting 68.24%. So basically, because UK is the base item over here, it is subtracting base item from this, and then it is dividing the difference with the base item. Now let's play with the pivot. I'll delete this and I'll go back to no calculation. Now over here I've just got the salary, right? Now let's say if I also want to look at the number of employees. So I can drag one more variable over here, and now I've got the number of employees also across these different combinations. So I've got the sum of salary and I've also got the number of employees. Let me just change the name. Let's remove country. Let's put age in here and let's clear filters. Now I can take the maximum salary also. So let's see value field settings, maximum. So now I've got the max salary also. So this is one way by which you can explore more options in the pivot table. Now let's just remove the number of portfolios worked in, and let's remove the filter from here. So now I've got 25 employees. The maximum salary is $98,000, I can again add the salary variable over here. Let's say I just want the sum of salary also now. So I can summarize as many variables over here as I want to. Now, apart from using these sum, count, average, max, min options, or the different options like percent of or percent of column total, percent of grand total, we can also use calculated fields in a pivot table. So let's just see how this works. So you click on the pivot table, go to the analyze toolbar. Now click on field items and sets and click on calculated field. Now let's say I want the average amount of salary being given to an age group based on successful cases completed by the employees in that age group. So I will click on calculated field. In the name section, let me mention the name as average commission per case. And in the field section, because I want to find the average salary per successful case, I will first click on salary, insert field, and then I'll use a divide operator and click on successful cases, again insert field, and then click on OK. So now Excel has automatically created a calculated field. Now just like you can add more fields to your pivot table, you can also add more data to your existing data, which is acting as the input or the source data for your pivot table. So all you need to do is go to your data set, and let's say you want a variable called t. Let me just put some random values in it right now. Now if I go back to my pivot, this will not at the moment show me the variable t, and that is because I've not told pivot that the data source has got updated. And for that, what I need to do is I need to go to analyze, I need to go to change data source, click on change data source, and now I'll need to consider the updated data range and click on OK. So now as you can see, t is appearing over here now. I can also click on refresh. Now with this done, what I would suggest you to do is use the sample data and try and identify trends in that data using a pivot table. Use the different options in a pivot table and get used to them. In the next session, we'll discuss graphs and then we'll discuss some basic pivot table options. Thank you. Hi. In this session, we'll discuss pivot graphs and then we'll discuss some of the basic pivot table options. Now the pivot table graphs are no different to what we have looked at so far, but when we'll go through them, you'll see the advantage of a pivot table graph over a normal graph. So I've got the sum of salary over here and I've got the number of employees across age groups. Let's insert a chart. Let's say I want to insert a column chart. Just now the scale of employees and the salaries, it's completely different. Employees are just in single digits, whereas salaries are in thousands. So let me just put the salaries on a secondary axis. Format data series, secondary axis. And for the primary one, let's just change series chart type. Employees can be a line. And now I'll click on OK. And I can have my legend on top. I'll just zoom in a bit. Now, what is different in this particular chart as compared to a normal chart is that you've got filters over here. And this is similar to the filters what we have in the pivot. So you can apply filters over here and you can immediately see the change in trend. Whereas for a normal chart, if you want to again and again change the source data, you'll have to either create a number of charts with different combinations of data, say one for female, one for male, and one for both male and female. But over here in a pivot chart, we can just use these filters and see the impact they have on the trend. Similarly, you can apply filters over here also. Let's look at another graph. So now for UK, I've got the sum of salaries for male and female, and for USA again, I've got sum of salaries female, male. Let's plot this on a graph. Over here on the primary vertical axis, you've got the salaries. Now, this particular graph shows that the female population in both UK and US, they are outperforming the male population in terms of salaries. But the female population in US earns more than their counterparts in UK as well. So similarly, you can try and insert other charts on the basis of data you are trying to summarize over here. Now let's look at some of the pivot table options. Whenever you click on pivot table, a design conceptual tab starts to appear. Let me just change the data accordingly. I put age also over here. So now I've got for UK, I've got these different ages which are appearing. Similarly for, let me just zoom out a bit. Similarly for US, you've got these different ages appearing. Now if I go to design, right now as you can see, you've got subtotals appearing for the UK population, you've got subtotals appearing for the US population as well. So you can remove the subtotals, you can add the subtotals. Let's just keep them at the bottom. Then you can remove the grand totals. Report layout, this is just about changing the layout, not going into it. Insert blank line after each item. So just so as soon as we are done with the UK, it inserts a blank total. Similarly after US, it inserts a blank total, but there is no need of it, so let's just remove it. Again, go to design. If I untick row headers, see the difference. Column headers, banded rows, banded columns, and from here you can change the color of a pivot table. Got these different options. Let's just go with this. Analyze tab. We had seen filters over here using name or gender. Let's put marital status also over here. Insert slicer. Slicer is another way by which you can apply filters in a pivot, and all you need to do is suppose you want to add in a filter, say on the basis of age. So you'll click on OK. Now you can add in more slicers. So just click on it, analyze, insert slicer. Let's say on marital status. Okay. So if I want to place a filter over here, so as you can see immediately it changes. Now I can apply multiple items also. So this is a very neat technique rather than going over here again and again and selecting items from the drop down. If you want to remove slicers, you can just go over them and click on delete, or you can clear the filter first and then delete. Now because for the first slicer which we had deleted, the filter was still there, so now we'll have to remove that filter. So we'll go to row labels. So now because in rows we've got two variables, country and age, so we need to select age, and then we need to untick clear value from age, and that is the way you can remove filters. Speaking of filters, you can apply filters from here also. Label filters will apply labels on country or age, the two variables which we have over here. So as you can see, the US one gets removed. Now you can clear the filter. There is another option which I will discuss over here, is the group ungroup options. Let's go to another data set I have over here. I've got daily expenditure data. Click on insert. Okay. As soon as I drag and drop date from here, all my dates have been grouped in quarters, and then in quarters also in months. This is something which does not happen by default in the older versions of Excel but does happen in 2016. So you can ungroup them by selecting this. Now I've got all the dates over here. You've got almost 547 dates, but it does become difficult to look at all these dates separately. So it's always better to group them. So let's go to analyze, group selection, and you can choose your own selection over here. So let's select months and years. Let's zoom out a bit. So now I've got data for 18 months over starting from 2015 onwards, and then I can just look at the cost. And then I can just insert to just look at any change in trend. So these were some of the options in pivot tables, and as in when you start using pivot tables more, you'll get more comfortable with them, and then you will be able to use these options more efficiently. Now following this video, we definitely have this data also available for you to just try out these things what we've just gone through. And I have also given you a case study. The case study has data for genuine and fraud customers. All you need to do is you need to analyze the data using a pivot table and try and identify a segment where the fraud customers are present. And once you are through the case study, if you have any questions or any queries, just drop me a note. Thank you.